Us for the COVID-19 Financial Oversight Committee meeting. We are again remote using WebEx, and so if I may have a motion to proceed electronically.
This is Councilwoman Sepulveda. I move that the proposed agenda constitutes essential business and the meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and well-being of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak.
Seconded.
Excellent. And we will do, is there any discussion, any questions? Otherwise, we'll move forward with the roll vote. Okay. Sarah Finley?
Aye.
Councilmember Gamble?
Aye.
Sean Henry?
Yes.
So we just had him. Councilmember Johnston? Did I get a yes from Councilmember Johnston?
I'm sorry, yes. I was laughing.
Thank you. And Councilmember Sepulveda?
Aye.
And let's see, make sure I didn't miss anybody that joined us. Okay. All right. That is 5 in favor. We will proceed electronically.
Hey, Mary Jo, can I speak for just 1 second?
Please do.
So just a reminder to everybody who, especially for those who don't have their camera up, on October 1st, the governor's executive order changed a little bit with respect to electronic meetings. One of the new requirements is that if you're conducting an electronic meeting, you have to, anyone who is observing this being live streamed has to be able to easily identify the speaker, which is fine for those of us who have the camera up. You can see our lips moving, you know who's speaking. But if you don't have your camera up and you're speaking and you haven't been introduced, just make sure to identify yourself before you speak. That's it.
Great, thank you. All right, first on our agenda is just to review our reports. I did put our small business support report updates. You all have received those. We also had United Ways that I left off the agenda, but we have the United Way Charity Tracker report also. And I just open that up for any questions, any comments, anything with our small businesses.
I haven't had a chance to look at the charity tracker. Was that in a separate email from the small business?
It was, and I would love to make sure that you all received it. I know the file is getting larger. Sent that one earlier yesterday.
Okay, I'll go back and look at it. And one other question. In the small business, did we receive any supplemental information with the NBIC report? I saw the list of businesses, but I didn't have any summary or context with the funding that has been allocated.
So after Ms. Crane-Jones sent the report, she did follow up with an email that said their total expenditures to date were $67,000. That was the only other piece of information.
All right, thank you.
For everybody else from the committee, did you all receive the charity tracker just to make sure it actually went through?
I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it. I saw that come through, I think, last night.
Okay, yeah, it was, I can go back in my system to make sure. $525 yesterday.
I found it as well.
Okay, good. It had a little problem attaching the last time I tried to send it, so I wanted to make sure the file wasn't too big and get deleted from the actual email.
Got it.
Okay, so you all have those. One thing that I included in the email for you all to know, just to point out, I did talk to Clint Gwynn at Pathway Lending. They haven't had a full 2 weeks, so from their reporting perspective, I know that they were just starting to get through those applications. They haven't actually funded any of the organizations, but they have actually they finished the review and made the recommendation. And he shared that with you. And I think that he is fairly certain that they will subscribe the full $2 million for small businesses, probably by the end of today, at the rate that the applications are coming. So the funds have not actually been dispersed, but based on the applications and the review, and as they're completing the all the criteria for the application, for the ones that have applied, they believe that they will commit the funds with the applications that they have by the end of today. So that's
Jennifer Gamble. I'm sorry. I have a question about that. On the report from Pathway, there was a question about applicants based on their on Pathway's reading of the resolution that they are only I guess covering expenses from September 2nd to November 15th are eligible for the grant reimbursement. I didn't recall that. I remember the 2 months of expenses, particularly for the live music venues, but I didn't know, was there a date attached to that? The September 2nd to November 15th? I don't recall that.
You are correct. The 2 months is operating expenses related to the live music venue grants, and then for the small business, it is up to $10,000 and up to $5,000 for the micro businesses. And I did talk to Pathway regarding that time frame, that the expenditures, and I also let all of the folks know, all of our contracts with all of our community partners, that the council did pass the resolution to extend that date to December 30th. What Pathway was making sure is that folks had actually incurred expenses that made them COVID eligible in that time frame. So there were a few that didn't max out. You can see that average gift. I don't have it in front of me, but it's just shy of 10,000. But with the extension of dates, they're going to go back and think that some of those small businesses will now max out that 10,000.
Just to follow up, so they put in these dates in the beginning, or they put in the dates after they found that they were needing to put in a time frame in order to max out the 10,000. I didn't quite understand.
Well, they chose the September 2nd date because that was the date of the council meeting approving the funds was September 1st. So they went forward from September 2nd to November 15th because that was the end date of the contract. But I clarified with Pathway that the eligible expenditure timeframe really is March 1st to December 30th. And of course, now we made the contract December 28th. So they are going to go back and really allow for that entire time period to be considered for the eligible, which will essentially allow most of those businesses to reach the 10,000 maximum.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Mary Jo, Sean, I just have one question on the charity tracker. And I don't want this question to come up as if I think this is wrong, but when you go down through where the dollars are being classified, there's some put in for tornado, electric, gas, rent relief. Are we going to have a problem if they're filling those buckets, being this is for COVID? Perhaps it's just a bad classification. They could reclass it because they're flowing in and out of each other.
That's a great question, and I will have to follow up on that because you're right. We need to make sure that it's not just tornado. My guess is it happened at the tornado and then was, obviously worsened by the COVID pandemic, and we'll just have to make sure that's properly classified.
Yeah, they should almost meld them together as a classification.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking that.
Jennifer Gamble again. I have a second question about the funding deadline, the new resolution for, and it is the 28th or the 15th of December.
December 28th is the expenditure period has been extended for the nonprofits.
Right. And is that for money actually invoiced and spent or allocated? And the reason I ask that is because I know particularly with NBIC, where they're providing one-on-one training and service, they may have, I mean, it goes over a period of time, like a few weeks of training or whatever they need to build their website or whatever it is. So they may allocate the funding for those services, but it may not be completed by the 28th. So as long as they have that funding designated, does that qualify, or do they have to actually have funding invoiced and paid by the 28th?
So for the technical support, I have clarified with the organizations that if they have folks enrolled in the program, they've properly registered them, they have started their classes, they may have continuing services past the December 28th date, but if you think about it, if the small businesses were actually enrolling in the program and paying for it, they would pay for all of that up front. So they would register, they would pay, they'd have all their paperwork, and they would start the program. In this case, our funds are actually providing for that payment of those organizations. And so since all of that will occur prior to the 28th, if somebody is enrolled, has their complete, paperwork in place, and they've, started their classes, if the additional support happens after the 28th, that is still okay. The funds have actually been incurred, committed, expensed by the Treasury guidelines.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I have one question, just looking, and I'm just looking through it, so I apologize if you've already mentioned this, but on the charity tracker for event assistance, there are fairly big entries for Christmas and for miscellaneous. Do we know what those are?
I don't. I'm writing notes, and I'm not going to guess. I have a couple thoughts, but I will follow back up on that. Any other questions on any of our report updates? Okay.
I've asked on the arts report that we just got this morning, are those anticipated numbers, or do they already fulfill those? Because the headings are anticipated number of organizations, but then it actually has awards.
Oh, those are anticipated, but that's on the resolution. So I'm going to wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll go to resolutions as long as I don't see any hands. So I think we are ready to move on to resolutions.
Yeah, Mary Jo, one more question. Is there a report from the EC?
Yes. It was embedded as an email because they actually had two reports.
Is it with the others?
It's in the one that went out last night at 10 o'clock.
Okay, all right, I see it. It was in sort of a different format, so it didn't.
Yep. It's an embedded email because there were two reports and there was a narrative.
Gotcha. All right, I just found it. Thank you.
Good deal. And Vonda McDaniel, I hear that you're on via phone. I don't know if you're able to be unmuted, and I might just ask ITS if you see somebody on phone. We have one call in.
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Good to hear from you.
This morning. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, ITS, for freeing up that line for us. Okay, so we will move on to resolutions then. You should have 3 resolutions. And let's just start with MNPS. It's probably the shortest, easiest. So just a 1-page resolution. As a reminder, what we are doing is back in June, RS 2020-394 designated $24 million for MNPS for student laptops and hotspots. And that is how it was identified in that resolution. Fortunately, subsequent to that resolution, MNPS was the recipient of 2 other grants, one or both from the Tennessee Department of Education, one to support the actual student laptops and another to support connectivity via hotspots. So those were in excess of $10 million total. So of the $24 million originally allocated, that amount was reduced for the need for laptops and hotspots. And so as we looked at their calculations last week, what they presented to us was, would we also cover the teacher laptops as well as curriculum that is now necessary for virtual / digital learning, as well as some school supplies that, were it not for the virtual environment, kids would have all of that at school, but they needed to get the extra supplies to have for the individual students. So that is a reallocation of the $24 million as noted in this resolution. Did anybody have any questions or see any things that we missed in the resolution?
This is Councilor Johnston. Do we want to have any sort of reporting feature of specifically to come back to us? Okay, X number of dollars went to teacher laptops, X number of dollars went to virtual curriculum, X number of, so that we know exactly. And also, if we were to be audited, it looks better that we've been very, very cautious and just making sure that where we want it to go is that they're reporting back that yes, it did go there. And then if they may have overages too. They may have thought that it was X number of dollars for example, teacher laptops, and then they realize, well, no, several teachers already had their laptops, they didn't need them, and so they have extra money. Do we want to that fail safe like we've done with every other resolution?
Yeah, I'm completely open to that. I'll give you a little bit of information just on how it will look like mechanically. That because of, essentially a related party, they will be charging the general ledger COVID fund for all of the expenditures. And then, I and also, somebody else from finance will be looking at those. So we will have that, versus any of our external parties that are spending the funds. We don't have that that kind of internal view. But I think maybe the point of any unspent funds, any amounts less than 24 million, then what happens to that? So maybe similar to what we did with the just the most recent resolution that went through that said any of our external contracts, any unspent funds by December 28th are returned to Metro. I think we probably would be well suited to have a similar comment that says any unspent funds by December, 30th will be used by Metro for, if we could pick up that same wording, expenses incurred by Metro, unreimbursed expenses already incurred by Metro.
Yeah, I would like that in there. I don't know. This is Councilor Johnston again. I don't know if I need to make a motion for that or if that's just, if we're just having discussion and legal can plug that in. I would prefer to have that in there just as a fail-safe.
Let me work on some language while we're doing the rest of the resolutions, and I'll send out an amended.
Excellent. Thank you.
Do you need to identify yourself?
I have a quick. Sarah Finley, and this is really for our council members. Is the phrase curriculum for students, does it need to be more specific than that? I don't know how likely you guys are to get questions about what we're allocating money to, or do we think that's sufficient the way that it's worded?
I actually wondered about that too, because it's a very broad statement, and sort of so is supplies. So, you know, we've been very, very specific with all the other allocations on exactly what, and very, I don't know of any categories. So I guess that's something the committee needs to think about. Do we want to say specifically virtual curriculum? Do schools, you know, supplies, like that's hard. But I mean, we could.
I just want to position it for success so you guys don't get put on the hot spot about what we really are approving money for. But I don't know exactly how NPS expressed what their needs were to us.
This is Councilor Johnson. I think that the original request said their virtual curriculum that they had already had to sort of invest in, and this was help. So I don't want to speak for them, but I can't imagine them being, objecting to specifying virtual curriculum versus any other curriculum.
Maybe we could just say something like, curriculum based on the, programming needs caused by COVID-19 or something like that.
Yeah, it's referred to as pre-K through 12 virtual curriculum, includes core text, interventions, and assessment. So, I mean, we could just say pre-K through 12 virtual curriculum.
I think that would work.
Okay.
That's the best.
And specifically in the school supplies, a lot of them were related to arts. So it was instructional and art supplies. Again, kind of thinking typically when the kids are in school, they can go to the art room and they have access to everything, but they are still having these, these classes and still working on the same curriculum, but from home. So they were providing those supplies to the students remotely. I think leaving it at school supplies is probably okay, unless y'all want to change it. It does say basic school supplies and art supplies. Materials needed to learn at home. So we could add that piece.
I agree. That would be helpful just to include that second piece, as well as in the virtual curriculum. You said something like K through 12, something. It was like 3 words. Probably if we just include all of it, that'll handle it.
Okay, so Alex, in the update, it's going to say pre-K through 12 virtual curriculum for students and school supplies needed to learn at home. And then you're probably lifting, there's the language from the resolution that went through last night that had the unexpended funds verbiage that could be added. All right, anything else with MNPS? We can come back and take a roll call vote on that after Alex sends the updates, if that probably makes the most sense. Okay, let's go then to our arts grant. It's probably our longest and is slightly different than what we talked about last week, and I'll explain why. It's $2 million provided to nonprofit arts organizations, and the criteria is spelled out on page 2. That is the Metro Arts Commission's current criteria. It includes definition of an arts organization. It includes things such as, making sure what they do from the arts, that they have their 501c3 letter, that they're located in Davidson County, some other discrimination. So a very thorough and thoughtful to help define. The one change that we as a discussed last week. Typically, the Arts Commission has these organizations must be in business for 3 years. They have a different date. So I'll point out that on page 2 of the resolution, item 1C has an IRS letter of determination, which is what creates the nonprofit status. That typically had a date that made them in business for 3 years. We did decide that we would have the same criteria that we used for our live music venues, which was that they be in business for a minimum of 12 months prior to shutdown, which is that we're using that February 29th, 2020 date. So that is the criteria. The change that we made that you'll see is that Metro Arts is still going to be overseen. They will help identify, answer any questions as to whether an arts organization qualifies. They will, they can assist with any other questions about that. But we talked to Pathway Lending just yesterday about the distribution because when Metro distributes the funds, it would require a full contract process. And time is of the essence. And not only do we want to get the funds to the nonprofit organizations quickly, we also have to make sure that we could get everybody under contract and dispersed by December 28th. And Pathway has the website is working. It's they've had over 500 applications. They know what they're doing now with being able to receive the applications and then distribute the funds, and it will prevent the need to have 60 plus different contracts go through the Metro legal process as part of this funding. So we wanted to make sure that we could get it out fast enough. And that was the main concern with if Metro Arts Commission actually did the physical distribution of the funds, they would have to enter into those contracts.
You've got hands up. I saw Jennifer's first.
Councilmember Gamble?
Yes, question about the administration of the grants. Will there be an administration fee? I know that Caroline mentioned that there wouldn't be, but now if Pathway is administering, is there a fee?
Yes, so we did talk about that, and I did talk to Caroline and a couple members of her team that we realized on one hand that was a bit of a disadvantage, but on the other hand, getting it out faster and was really their goal. So the 5% fee that Pathway has been awarded on the previous 2 grant funds would be the same. And I guess then I'll also circle back. Sean, you had a question on the spreadsheet that was attached to this grant. And I have to pull it up on my computer. That was really a proposed or a projected. No awards have been made, but what, pulling this up from the resolutions, what the Arts Commission did was they looked at the fact that they currently work with 52 arts organizations. And as they described in their application process, they have 4 tiers, and those tiers are based on the organization's budget. And so they looked at the $2 million that they had available, less the admin fee, and said, okay, if we're distributing $1.9 million, here's where we think the funding would go. So the action that you see kind of a max request. So again, we're looking at 2 months of operating expenses, not to exceed 100,000 is what the committee recommended. But as you see, thresholds probably had to be put in place. Otherwise, if everybody could go up to that 100,000, they wouldn't serve all of the organizations. I think this also made sense on the fact that our other small businesses were at 10,000 and micros were at 5,000. So I think this brings some of the max requests closer in line with that. So you have the 4 tiers, again, based on size. You can see they currently fund 52. There are probably more that will apply. We didn't close the funding to just the 52. The Arts Commission believes that they are funding, I think they used the word, most, if not all, that will qualify. I think they go through, every year when they open their application, they hear from organizations and they either deem them to be eligible or they don't meet the criteria. And since we're using the same criteria, there shouldn't be that many more. But that estimate of actual awards bumping up to, I think it was 64, is just an estimate. It could end up being less, it could end up being more. But that's a pretty safe ballpark estimate by the Arts Commission. Councilmember Sepulveda?
This is Councilwoman Sepulveda. I just have a question on 1F, and it says maintain a fully complete and accurate givingmatters.com profile. So I don't know if it would probably be a little different when it comes to arts funding, and they wouldn't necessarily be compatible with Charity Tracker. My question is just, so if they get awarded some of these funds, if the nonprofit gets awarded these funds, if they don't already have a Giving Matters profile, if they set one up, then they are still eligible, correct? Like they don't have to have a prior one.
Well, I will say that this criteria is asking that I will say it's probably assuming they already have one. It is so common to have a givingmatters.com profile. That is through Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. That is a site that they created years and years ago. And is really common for any nonprofit to be on there. But the way this is written, your interpretation would be correct, and this committee could, agree to this, that if they don't have one, as long as they create one and maintain one, they could meet this requirement. I will say I think the requirement assumes they already have one.
This Councilwoman, but yes, if we could add that in there, then I think that would be great.
So that they don't have to have it in order to apply. You would just want them to have it in order to receive the funds.
This Councilwoman support. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we have to change the wording. I think that will just help Arts Commission and Pathway to understand, before actual disbursement.
On 1D, it says have a business address that's located in Davidson County. It does say operate most of its programs in Davidson County, but that's 50% plus one. Do we want to further sort of narrow that to just the locations that are in Davidson County? To hopefully sort of make sure that their dollars go to Davidson County locations, or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, it was easier when it was the music venues, because if the music venue was in Davidson County, then everybody being served by that venue was physically in Davidson County, you know, when it happened. I think we could take out most of and operate programs in Davidson County. Where I've seen this work before in the nonprofit world, like from grants, is that if 80%, you know, so they might operate a program in multiple places, we're only going to fund the work that happens in Davidson County. So if enrollment-wise, 80% of that happened in Davidson County, that would be the piece that we are funding. I don't think we want to exclude an arts organization just because they have multiple places.
No,
Yeah,
that's not my goal. But I don't want to fund programming that's in other counties as well. And I think that 1D leaves that open to that. It says have a business address and operate most of its programs in Davidson County. Is there a way to clean that up to specify that only the programming that's operated in Davidson County is what's being supported with these particular dollars?
I have a suggestion if someone wants to hear it.
Sure.
Have a business address that is located in Davidson County and agrees to use funds exclusively for programs in Davidson County.
Perfect.
Yep.
Sarah's hand is up.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so actually, we just covered one of my comments, so I think that's a great solution. But just a couple of minor language things. We talk about in sort of the why we're doing this. It's basically because arts organizations provide spirit and beauty. And I don't know exactly where those terms came from, but I also think the reason we're making this a priority is the employment, economic impact, culture, broader reason why we're making this one of our priorities in our grant. So I think that needs to be maybe expanded a little bit. And then the second thing I just happened to notice, and this will be a comment for you, Alex, is there's a reference to the Metro Action Commission that I think is to be Arts Commission.
Yes. Sarah, I think those are great points, because I think that was one of the employment impact and economic impact were really important to the committee. So I do think adding, I don't know if we either want to change the immediate and critical and then just add it in that whereas, or created a second whereas about the fact that these organizations do employ a very impactful number of folks, and we can either get that or just say for employment and economic impact. And then Alex, did you grab it? It's in the third from bottom paragraph with oversight.
Yeah, I got the action part fixed. I can work on a little bit of language and send that in an update for the economic impact part and the employment part and see if everybody agrees on it.
Great. And then we had the similar reporting that they would again give us a list of all organizations that received funds for how much, and then the demographic information that we've asked for all of our grants. Councilmember Gamble, do you still have a question?
Yes, thank you. Just a follow-up to the Giving Matters requirement. I agree that we should maybe not make having one when you apply a requirement but adding one upon application, but also would want to add about that because I know the 52 organizations that are members already will have one, but those that may come in that are not members may not have one. And if they don't, can we add some kind of support to building one? I ran a nonprofit for years. I know all about Giving Matters and the profile, and it does take some work and some I guess some experience in building that profile. So just wondering if we also need to add some kind of time frame or support with building the Giver Matters if they don't already have a profile.
Yeah, I think it's maybe to the applicant organization's advantage that we don't have a time frame on it so that they can, it might give them more time than if we were to say by December 28th.
I agree. I guess I'm more thinking about support for that. I don't want. So if we're not going to have a time frame, then they can still continue through I just don't want them to be held back because of that Giving Matters profile. So if they don't have one, they can still go through the process of the arts grant while they work on their profile, but that won't hold them up from getting the grant. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Okay, that it doesn't have to be in place prior to funding.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on the resolution for the Arts Commission or our nonprofit arts organizations?
We need to be specific about the fee here.
Yes. I think that is a good idea. That question typically comes up. Let's see where we have pathway lending. In section 4, it says directs Financial Oversight Committee and the Metro Arts to oversee pathway lending's administration of these funds, determine how the grants should be dispersed and allocated. Can we just work in there somewhere at a 5% administrative fee?
Have we talked to Pathway? Sorry, this is Council Lady Johnson. Have we talked to them at all about maybe negotiating that down a little bit? There's got to be some sort of economies of scale. They're allocating a lot of money, and they at 5%. I don't know. Just to me, I feel like it's at least worth a conversation to say, hey. Can we cut a deal? Was that ever discussed, or is it just an assumption that 5% is what it is?
Well, and originally their request was 7%, and they did come down to 5% on the other two. So, admittedly, when I called to see if they had the capacity and were willing to do this, I said I assume 5% fee would be necessary, and they said yes, we would do it for that. So we could reach back out to them to find out if it could be less.
It's worth a phone call. I mean, any little bit that's saved, not to the detriment of Pathway at all, but if there is some sort of economies of scale, that obviously the more money to these organizations. I could repeat that. I saw you were talking, but I couldn't hear you.
This is Sarah Finley. I was going to say, I like your point, especially since the Arts Commission will be doing some of the legwork here in terms of the criteria and the support.
Okay, I've taken those that economy of scale, and particularly with Arts Commission pretty much paving the path for all the criteria. Would there be a reduction? I will reach out to them today.
Let me ask this: do you want their 5% to be in the resolution that's passed today, or do you just want to stay with an administrative fee and then negotiate that?
I think it needs to be spelled out how much we're spending on this administrative fee. And so I guess once she makes that phone call, it's probably going to be a quick answer, yes or no. Could we plug that number in, knowing that our worst case scenario is the 5%, which is $100,000?
Okay, so when we vote on this, we'll do that with a conditional part to it.
Perfect.
It's Jennifer Gamble. I may have missed this, but are we taking the administrative fee out of the allocated $2 million, or are we putting something above that for the fee?
It's being taken out of the $2 million. Okay, I don't see any other hands. Are there any other questions on the Arts Commission funding for nonprofits? All right. Let's see. Should we go back should we end one? Alex did send out the updated draft for MNPS. Oh, do I need to send that to everyone, Alex? Sorry, folks. Hold on. Live show.
I just sent you the arts one updated too, so you might as well send both. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The changes should be highlighted in both documents, so you don't have to compare them.
Okay, hold on. Getting there. Got one. Okay, those should be coming across the wire here. Anybody get them? Okay, so I'm going to open up an MNPS resolution first. Alex, the wording I was thinking of for the return of funds would match what was in the other resolution, which the one that went before council last night, if I can get my hands on it. It had, it doesn't say for reallocation. It says for reimbursement of funds already eligible expenditures already incurred. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, that is what's in there. Reallocated. Okay. I was thinking of the ones that in the resolution where it says any returned funds back to Metro Finance to be used to offset CARES reimbursable costs incurred by the metropolitan government, thereby ensuring no funds are returned to the federal government.
Okay, I can try to pull that. Do you remember?
I have it, so why don't I just email this to you?
Okay, just send.
Sarah's hand is up.
Yeah, and just to be clear, to the extent we have this reallocation language in anything, that suggests that we have to, as a committee, do something between the 28th and 30th. So are we going to need to broadly pass something to make it already incurred expenses, or are we just going to take care of that on a resolution by resolution basis?
I think the wording that I just sent to Alex that I just read, it's in the resolution from last night that says any returned funds will be used for the CARES reimbursable expenses already incurred by Metro.
So we don't have anything that's already been passed or already been finalized that includes the language that suggests a reallocation. Be clear.
It's my understanding, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, that resolution that was passed last night, it refers only to these what I call external contracts. And now by including it with M&PS, even though they're an internal party, that anything not spent by United Way and its partners, anything not spent by Second Harvest or any of our small business partners, and now anything not spent by M&PS would all be used, would all be returned by December 28th. And those funds would then be used to reimburse Metro for already incurred expenses.
Yeah, that's the design of what we did, was to have it be finance's decision in those 2 days what to do with it.
The resolution that passed last night also extended this committee for a final recommendation for the December 15th council meeting. So whereas in the past, and I probably could change our agenda, I've always left that as a reminder that the final recommendation would be not later than November 15th. The final recommendation is now no later than December 15th, but that refers to the December 15th council meeting. But that's why we didn't want the committee to have to come back, between Christmas and New Year's and make a reallocation decision. And that's only if there are funds available or unspent.
Okay, I made a hybrid of some language. I'm going to send this back out to you, Mary Jo, to redistribute.
Okay. All right, just came through. Back out to you guys. Just hit send. Sarah, I see your hand up. Do you have more questions or just waiting on this one to come in?
No, that's an old hand. I'll get rid of it.
I'm flipping between my screens so much I don't always see them right when they go up. So. Okay. Do you all have the updated MNPS. So now in section 2, it says the Metropolitan Council directs that any funds that have not been dispersed by MNPS by December 28th shall be immediately returned to Metro Finance to be used to offset CARES reimbursable costs incurred by the metropolitan government, thereby ensuring that no funds are returned to the federal government. Go back to our screen here. So I think we have our final draft of the MNPS resolution. Somebody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. Is there any other questions or we take a vote? All right. Seeing no hands. Let's see. I will do our roll vote. All right. Sarah Finley?
Aye.
Councilmember Gamble?
Aye.
Councilmember Johnston?
Aye.
Vonda McDaniel?
Aye.
Sean Henry?
Aye.
And Councilmember Sepulveda?
Aye.
All right, so 6-0, we have our resolution passed for MNPS. And then arts, I'm going to send you another one for arts because Alex made the same adjustment on the return of funds. So let me get that one out to you also. What would we do without the internet? Email.
This is Jennifer Gamble again. Did we talk about if the Metro Arts, is it similar to the schools where we'll be able to receive internally a report on? Oh, okay, I see it in here that they'll, oh no. Okay, I see the repeat, never mind. I see the bi-weekly reporting that they'll provide to the committee. Thank you.
Yes, no, very important to make sure that's included. Thank you. So you can see the updates to this that we've memorialized the importance of the employment and economic impact that these organizations have for our city. We disclose the 5% administrative fee, which we will conditionally consider in here just to make sure that we have that, but that I will follow up with Pathway. And that immediate or returned funds will have its identified use.
Should we say not to exceed 5%?
We sure can. Okay, let me go back to our screen. All right, so I think we have that with the not to exceed 5% and the contingency that if we can get that brought down, we will insert a lower rate. With that as our final draft, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. I don't see any hands or questions, so we will go ahead and vote on our $2 million in funding for nonprofit arts organizations. Sarah Finley? Great. Councilmember Gamble?
Aye.
Sean Henry?
Aye.
Councilmember Johnston?
Aye.
Vonda McDaniel?
Aye.
And Councilmember Sepulveda.
Aye.
Great, thank you. I have 6-0. That passes. And then our last resolution today for review is our farmers market. Bring that up. Okay. I'm digging back to the farmers market resolution. Sorry, folks. Okay. A few things. Alex, can you make sure I'm not on mute? Okay. Alex, can you remind me what date this needs to be submitted for our November 5th meeting?
Well, according to our office, today is the deadline at noon, but we could do that by Friday at noon. So we have to get an answer to the questions you and I had talked about pretty soon.
Okay. So you all have the draft resolution. Alex, the one thing I noted is it still says 600 and it's 500 in rent relief at the top.
Okay, I'll change it to 500 throughout.
Yeah. But the question that we had on this is some mechanics in the distribution, similar to the Arts Commission. We were trying to figure out if the rent relief that is being dispersed to the vendors of the farmers market is going to be physically dispersed to them, which would require contracts, or if it will just be used as a credit to either any back rent or current rent, that essentially it is rent relief, which in this case then is just retained by the farmers market. And if we do that, does that create an issue of revenue replacement from an eligibility perspective? So there's a few questions, and Tasha Kennard with the farmers market did confirm that the original intention by farmers market was not to disperse the funds. So we would not have to have 100 plus contracts for disbursement of funds, similar to what we were talking about with the Arts Commission. So that puts us more back into the question of just ensuring that it's not deemed as a revenue replacement for Metro, that we can still structure the application. There will be an application for the vendors to fill out, so that we need to make sure that that is structured properly so that it's not deemed a revenue replacement, thereby not being eligible for CARES Act funding. So it is probably worth going through the resolution because I think it will end up looking like this. But I will say we maybe, Alex, I'll take your guidance. I don't know if we vote on the motion to move it forward or if we wait.
I think you should go ahead and vote with the condition that we get approval from the outside legal group that's looking at this to make sure there's no problem with applying for CARES issues. Okay.
So what you have in front of you then, you'll see where it says 600, it's 500. The yellow it's the pandemic fund number is 30099. And then let me read you some clarity from the farmers market that I received this morning in response to those questions, which we may want to incorporate. The funds, it is a business continuity fund to be applied as rent relief. The credits for the rent will range from $1,500 to $10,000. All merchants that have that have retailed, that have retailed since March 2020 will be eligible. The credit to each merchant account is based on their vendor type, retail participation, which means are they a multi-year tenant or year-round or seasonal, and contracts will not be required. That was what came back. So we may want to, is there any part of that the committee feels needs to be incorporated? Get back to my screen so I can see. Yes, Sarah Finley.
Yeah, my comment was not directly to that point, it was to the resolution. So why don't we finish this discussion?
I don't see any other hands. Go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead, Sean.
I don't know how to raise my hand. I apologize for my ignorance.
You just did that. That counts.
Yeah, I should have asked this last week, so I apologize. But do we know how much of that roughly $500,000 in rent relief is actually in arrears already, and how much is forward thinking? And I apologize for not asking that last week. Because if we just reset it, I'm more curious about how fast we kind of get back in the ditch with the vendors.
I will, let me see if I can even email and get a response while we're talking. What I recall, and I don't know the dollar value, is that Farmers Market did waive some of the rent during the shutdown. So I think what we want to find out is how much are folks in arrears? Are they really in arrears, or was it already permanently waived? And I think that's kind of a two-part question. It's slightly different and would cover what you're asking versus how much of it is a future credit.
It's a better question too, so thank you.
And Mary Jo, my comment actually dovetails with Sean's. To me, Section 3 kind of implies that we're just applying these funds to rent arrears that may exist on the date that we approve the resolution. And I'm assuming that what we intend to do is, if some were to be incurred going forward, we're probably going to cover those as well. But I just want to make sure we're clear on just what we're covering.
Okay.
This is Jennifer Gamble. To follow up to Sarah's comment, is it necessary that we say arrears at all? I mean, could it just be rent relief, or is there some reason why we need to say arrears?
I just use the word arrears. We can change that to rent relief. I don't see any problem with it.
Okay. Sorry, getting back to you. All right, so I have sent that out, and perhaps we want to, I don't know, Alex, maybe we do want to wait on a vote for clarification.
I think there are enough questions that Tasha still needs to answer and the lawyers need to answer that maybe this week we can come back next week, or if it's absolutely critical, we can do a special call meeting. But given the fact that if we get the answer we want from the lawyers, it should be a quick, because we just send it to farmers market and they just apply it. It shouldn't really be the delay shouldn't be a problem. In other words, if we get to do it how we want to. So I'd recommend just holding on to this one and we'll vote on it next time.
Okay, I am good with that. I think, any questions though, we'll get this. I mean, if any of you still have questions, let's flush them all through. We'll get it, as cleaned up and final as we think, and then be able to come back for a vote. And I think the cleaner we have it, the easier we might even just do it with a special called meeting. So your questions are great if you have any. I see Sarah's hand, but I think it's an old one. All right. Okay, so we will not vote on that, but I think I thank you all for your questions to get it to a great format. And then, we're nearing the end. And I did not, and I apologize, I did not send you all a revised list. I am happy to send you one. We've had a couple other inquiries, essentially requests for proposal that we haven't discussed, and doesn't mean we have to discuss them today, but I do get questions from folks, and I've just said it's not something we've taken up yet. Let me send you. There's not been any changes from it. This is the framework from last week. I'll do one more quick email out. Okay, so that should be coming your way. And the two new ones that I just wanted to point out were well, there are actually three that we haven't discussed. They are the last three in the supporting the health and economic welfare of individuals. Adventure Science Center, the Global Platform Technology, and Music Cares. And again, it isn't that we have to take them up today, but just in light of any other discussions that we want to put on the agenda for next week, or any invitations for folks that you had questions for with any of our outstanding requests.
This is Councilwoman Sepulveda. Sorry, Mary Jo, you went out for me for a second, so I didn't quite hear that.
Okay. Did you all get the framework, the one that we always see? Okay. So on the last three, they are just some applications that I've emailed to you all, requests, but we haven't actually, I think, even discussed them. And again, not that they have to be on discussion today, but Adventure Science Center has put in a request for a virtual learning studio for MNPS students. There is some global platform technology I can do my best to explain to you. And then there was a request for Music Cares for music industry related workers. And if any of those you would like to discuss next week and want any of the individuals to be there, I just wanted to kind of tee up next week for us as we near our end time today.
This is Councilwoman Sepulveda. I do want to bring up a topic that I would like to discuss for next meeting, which is opening up some of the funding for funeral expenses to help with that. I've had quite a few people reach out saying that some people are having a bit of trouble. Specifically, it was people who have reached out who have had family members who have passed away from COVID. So I don't know if that means opening up some of the utility relief. I don't know if we could classify in some way, but just something to think about for next meeting.
No, I appreciate you checking that, and or mentioning that, and I will check with. I think it's our social services department that does have. No, it certainly is more. I think it's referred to as indigent burial funds, but that might be something that we can in place that we could already work with. So I will do a little homework for myself and make sure that I come with that information, as well as then any information you have. For kind of what the nature, of the requests. That is certainly, a hardship and the ultimate consequence of this pandemic that we want to, be very sensitive to. So appreciate you bringing that up.
Great, thanks.
Mary Jo?
Yes.
This is Vonda. I did want to perhaps bring in the person from Music Cares about the micro grants for music workers. We've done a lot for the nonprofits, or at least provided a way for nonprofits to receive some relief. But as the longer this goes on, and with unemployment in some cases being exhausted, those micro grants for music workers really might be useful to helping folks on the ground. So if we could just bring them in to ask them some questions about their proposals, that would be terrific.
Absolutely. I will reach out to them. And I think one of the things I know, this request came in when Ashley was still working with us, in this topic. And what she had pointed out to the applicant also was that to make sure she sent them the available information for economic relief, so that in addition to the unemployment that we hope these folks have all applied for and received, that with the loss of income, you qualify for the rent relief, or mortgage relief and utilities and food. So we hope that we are actually capturing support for all of the individuals and the businesses and the venues. And so it would be great maybe to hear back from them to see if their folks have actually, if they have shared that information, so that there are resources available.
Agreed.
Any other items for next week's agenda? I'll have an update for you before next week on the farmers market resolution. And then I will ask somebody to come in and represent Music Cares. We will look at what are available resources for funeral expenses related to COVID-related deaths. Anything else?
It's Jennifer Gamble. I'm not sure if we need to bring in a group next week, but just wanted to also remind everyone that we discussed at one point relief for nonprofits since we didn't bring them into the small business relief. And I'm not sure if, what the need is. I'm not sure if our small business partners can give us information about if they have had nonprofit applicants that they have had to turn away. So that would be, if we could get information, I don't know if that's something we could just ask our business partners about, information about if they are seeing a need for nonprofit, or if they are getting applicants in the nonprofit spectrum for small business, if they are serving them, and if that's something that we need to look at.
Great, I will do that. And I think in addition to reaching out to the small business partners, and I did see a few nonprofits on their lists of businesses being served. So I think that's a great point. And we could also do a check-in with the state to really understand what the funding has looked like as a result of what the state offered, as well as we do have also who received from United Way. And again, remember when I say that, that's because they had a fund prior to any of the federal funding that they provided relief to nonprofits. So a good update from them might be helpful too.
Yes, if I remember correctly, it was about $33.5 million that they allocated, but that was in the spring. So of course, this has gone on much longer. But yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay.
And Mary Jo, we have some specific nonprofits like the National Zoo and the Fisher Science Center, and I think probably the Global Platform is a nonprofit as well. But if they want to be considered, find out if they qualify for some of the state funding, because there have been two different allocations of that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the Global Technology Platform is it's a software platform that's really it creates a bit of a database for a collective impact of funding. And what I shared with the applicant is what I will share with you, that my concern is it creates an ongoing cost to Metro. There's an upfront, there's a fairly time and labor intensive upfront to populating a database, getting it all, to really launching it successfully, and then the ongoing cost. And I just don't think that that we have the time frame. I don't think we have the runway. I don't think we have the manpower and capacity right now when we are in a hiring freeze. And in a reduction in spending to commit to funds that will be expenses that will be incurred post 12/30 that we don't have a budget for at this point. And I shared that with the applicant. It's not actually a nonprofit. I don't know what the structure of the business is, but it would be $1 million launch with ongoing expenses for use of a database that I am not entirely sure qualifies for eligibility in the first place.
No, that makes sense. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't really understand exactly what that proposal was. I was assuming they were a nonprofit. The Global
Yep. All right, folks. I don't see any other hands. So we will go ahead. I'll get an agenda out to you for next week. We will follow up with the farmers market resolution. And if there is anything else that comes your way and you want to share it with the committee, I will continue to send that information out. We'll be back to Thursdays at noon if it continues to work. Thank you all for adjusting your schedule today. Closing questions, remarks?
Yeah. Will we be virtual next week again?
We will continue to be virtual. I think as long as council is set up at Music City Center, we don't have our equipment in the chamber, and that's really the best place. It's the place that we can offer enough space for social distancing with the plexiglass and the setup. So we'll continue virtual.
Not to throw a wrench into this, but the governor's executive order expires next Wednesday. We're hoping that it gets extended. For whatever reason, he wanted it to expire on the 28th and not the 31st of October. So we're working to try to get some clarity from the governor's office as to whether they will extend virtual meetings again. But it's entirely possible that on Thursday we'll have to meet in person, and I'll work with you on that. But I guess the answer is we don't know exactly, but the goal would be virtual.
Okay. And I'll have to work with ITS if we the chamber, because I do think there were some repairs going on, which was another factor, but I think those are finished. So I guess that's a big old to be determined, but we'll get to you quickly.
And Mary Jo, I'm going to go ahead and send these to Sally since we have a noon deadline. So I'll take care of that and I'll CC you on the email.
Thank you so much. Sean, did you have a question, comment?
No, ma'am. I was just waiting to say thanks. Have a good week.
Oh.
So, thanks. Have a good week.
All right. That's it.
Thank you.
Sean says thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mary Jo and Alex, for all your work.
Thank you all. We are officially adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.